Welcome to our /Antiwork where op quits so hard that his boss calls the cops on him. Our next Reddit post is from Posterms. I used to work at a cell phone carrier storefront. I've been there 5 years. I was salesperson of the month multiple times and always had good numbers. I had a new boss who was brought in as a store manager as part of a college new hire program, despite many in-store employees being way more qualified eventually. After this new hire ran off many of the veterans, I was left to open the store one morning by myself. While the manager was on the floor greeting people, she had the biggest hard-on for micromanaging and would always stand over my shoulder, being critical of how long it would take me with each customer. She didn't have any work experience, so there is that too. She would never open her own register. Well, this time, I had about a dozen different customers needing help, and they were all lined up waiting and pissed. My boss comes over while I'm trying to go as fast as possible and says in my ear, "You're taking too long. You need to move faster." I explain that each customer has specific needs and I have to make sure they're completely satisfied to avoid a bad review call and get written up again. My manager did not take the hint, so I turned around and asked her to come with me. For a second to the back, she followed me and immediately said, "What's the deal?" I said, "I think I'm done here. I cannot work like this." To which she said, "If you leave, you know you can't come back." To which I simply said, "What a poor choice of response." I took out my store keys and handed them to her, much to her surprise, and then just walked out of the store. I turned around and leaned on a public rail and watched through the window as she tried to deal with all the customers, and I smoked a cigarette. She then went to the back, pausing helping the customers, and called the cops on me. She tried to tell them I was loitering, and I wouldn't leave. She also told them that I was harassing the business. The cops arrived, and I told them the truth, and they told her I did nothing wrong because I was allowed to be on public property. As she rolled her eyes at the cops, I reminded her that she was taking too long, and the customers need her. I watched for another 10 minutes and left. F that yet. I may be petty, but she can F right the hell off, okay? So obviously, she was like a terrible manager and she deserves to get screwed over. But like at the same time, I kind of feel like upper management because why bring in a fresh college hire when you have qualified, skilled employees who actually understand the business already working there? Like, it's so weird for me when companies don't promote from within. Why spend more money on someone who may or may not be good when you can just promote someone who's already good and then make everyone happy? Posted to our /India. Should I start shaming cashiers for not saying thank you for shopping during checkouts? I'm not sure if this is just my location. You guys can chime in as well, but I can literally count on one hand the number of times I've been thanked for spending my money at my local supermarket or any other retail establishment for that matter. Gas stations, bookstore salons, to name a few. During the last few years, I thought that Indians were supposed to be hospitable people. Why am I being excluded from that experience? I am almost tempted to snap back at whichever old hag ends up working the cash register the next time I'm out and calling her out for not thinking a customer aka. I'm sure that it's part of their standard operating procedure. There's no reason these people get to just tell me the final amount and then mentally tell me to F off. What are your guys' experiences shopping around the country? Is it better where you are? Edit 40 minutes after posting this thread, it now only stands at 5% upvoted and falling. What a pity. Either you guys don't care about being treated fairly, or we have loads of entitled cashiers amongst us. I am effing done. As someone who used to work as a cashier, I can confirm, we do mentally tell you to go F off. Our next Reddit post. From throwaway, I worked for a mid-sized law firm that hired me as a specialist to handle all of their digital evidence for trials. The law firm was in the process of changing their evidence managing system to cloud-based, and they wanted me to be the only person with access to the cloud. Everyone else would be limited to view only and would work on a local network drive. Sounds great, but I quickly realized this was the only task they expected me to perform in my 8-hour shift. This was in no way an 8-hour job. So I was stuck finding busy work at the office most of the time. Then COVID happened, and I was asked if there was any way that I could work from home. I set up a remote workstation, and that's when the real fun began. In about a week, I was able to write, debug and perfect a simple script that performed my entire job. Essentially, scans the on-site drive for any new files, generates hash values for them, transfers them to the cloud, then generates hash values again for fidelity in court. You have to prove the digital evidence hasn't been tampered with. I clock in every day, play video games, or do whatever, and at the end of the day, I look over the logs to make sure everything ran smoothly, then clock out. I'm only at my desk, maybe 10 minutes a day. For a while, I felt guilty, like I was ripping the law firm off. But eventually, I convinced myself that as long as everyone is happy, there's no harm done. I'm doing exactly what they hired me to do. All the work is done in a timely manner, and I get to enjoy my life. It's a win-win for everyone involved. Down in the comments, we have this post from Blog to Builders. Think of your wages as a subscription service to your automation program. Lol. Dig companies love subscription services. Write our necks. Redipuses from novelty account. We had a visit from all the important managers yesterday. It was really just one of those checkouts where they try to catch you doing something wrong. And at one point, the HR lady went around to everyone and told us about the pizza that she brought for the employees that she had left the break room. Yeah, I know that pizza is not enough, but this pizza was from a locally famous pizza place, and we were all looking forward to having some on our breaks. By the time that anyone got a break, there was no pizza, or even pizza boxes in the break room. The front of house staff confirmed that our district manager took all 5 boxes of pizza when he left. This dude makes $250,000 a year. And he sold the only little thing that we were looking forward to that day, pizza. Well, he sounds like a pizza to me. Our next Reddit post is from Brilliant. I started a new job 2 months ago. I do field plumbing service. It hasn't been going well, and on Friday, I decided to put in my 2 weeks notice. Well, I guess that giving notice was a bad idea because things on the employer side got real unprofessional real quick. My direct boss had a meltdown when I told him calmly and professionally that I was quitting. He told me to F off and hung up on me. I took that as me being fired. Their problem was that I had their F-30 work truck. They demanded that I bring their truck back to Maine headquarters 3 hours away without giving me a ride home. Yesterday I emailed them and told them to come get their truck. I had the police come over and declare the vehicle abandoned. They would tow it in 24 hours. The big boss and the boss who told me to F off had to drive all the way out to my place on Sunday to get their truck before it was towed off of my property. Our next Reddit post Dish is soap from on a sponge. I'm a PhD student who has just started mystery shopping for some extra cash. I can't believe some of the interactions I'm supposed to have with these employees. Here's an example. I got an assignment for Best Buy. I'm supposed to be interested in a streaming like box, Roku Fire, etc., and ask an employee for help. The employee that I interacted with was super helpful. I told him about my TV and what I wanted while pretending not to know much about technology. He said that honestly, it didn't matter which brand I bought, and that he found one particular brand to be pretty user-friendly, which was great for new people, but otherwise, it was just okay to get the lowest cost one. He made sure that I understood how it plugs into my TV, ensure that I had way to connect it, and make sure that I was taken care of. But that's not what he was supposed to be evaluated on at all. He was supposed to push me towards one brand in particular, tell me about every single feature of that one specifically, wish me to have someone come out and install it for me, make eye contact, smile, introduce himself by name, make sure every single streaming box they offered by them was in stock, etc. If anyone asks, he totally did all those things, and I'm just not going to be a mystery shopper anymore. So my son is on life support, and I told my boss 48 hours before I was supposed to work again that I wouldn't be able to work until my son is off life support. And this is what she tells me. OP writes, "Hi Dawn. This is Crystal. I'm just letting you know that my son is still on life support, so until he's out of the bag, I just won't be able to make it to work. I can let you know if he starts to get better, so that way I can return to work with no problems. That isn't how we do things, so I'll accept that you're quitting, okay? So how do we do things when my child is on life support? I never said that I was quitting, so I take it that you're firing me. If you can't come to work, then that's you quitting. No, it's not. I'm letting you know that I can't come to work due to my child's life being on the line. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. I'm not gonna get into this with you here, but I've been more than accommodating with you during this time, allowing schedule changes and such. There is no Reason that you can't work, and I will not tolerate this drama. End of conversation. If you aren't here to work your shift tomorrow, then I take that as you quitting, okay? This isn't some eye doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment. This is my child's life that we're talking about. His own life. Support's okay. I'm gonna be in contact with corporate. I never quit my job. Banned you. Can't work because of too much drama. And by the way, here's corporate's phone number. Would you be able to go to work and function if your child was on life supports? I don't know, up from down, and you expect me to work? Yes, I would. I still have bills to pay, and it's something to keep me busy and occupy. We don't get to just come and go as we please at this company. I have tomorrow and Monday covered. Your son is in the best place that he can be. I have a store to run, and that is my focus, alright? So going down in the comments, apparently the manager got in a whole lot of trouble for this. The Facebook post got, let's see, 33,000 comments. That is an immense amount of comments, and 100,000 shares and 53,000 reactions. And the company where this manager works got review bomb down to a Google score of 1.7 out of 5 stars. Also, this went viral enough online the manager got fired. So the manager kept saying that op was being too dramatic, bringing much drama to the workplace. But it's that like, meme, is it me? Am I the drama? Yeah lady, it's you on this. Next post op, he was fired. Think gets this message. Good morning. Did you create an order for this week? Or an inventory? I'm confused. Was my position eliminated or not? Yes, but you did inventory and prep an order on Sunday. I was wondering where it was, if at all. Oh, bless your heart. You don't fire someone and then still contact them to ask questions about job because you don't know. After 25 years in the kitchen, I just thought you would have been professional. In 25 years, I've never had anyone fire me and then expect to still work. This top coming from Daytona Carl. You're fired, now get back to work. Our next Reddit posters from Stove. My husband was just fired from the Crocs distribution center in Dayton. If you're under the impression that Crocs cares at all about minorities, you're wrong. Last week, my husband reported a co-worker for multiple transphobic, misogynistic, racist and homophobic comments. These included complaining about having to stand in line to clock out behind a group of women in headscarves and referring to them as I'm not sure if I want to say this word on YouTube, so I'll let you imagine what slur he used here. He complained that he had to work with women in general. Like, I know that we need people, but why did it have to be a girl? Telling someone that back in his day, he used 2 OGs. Trick these F words into going to a party, drive them into an open field, and kick the stuffing out of them. When talking about a trans man that he worked with, he said she's got titties. She uses the girl's bathroom. She's a girl. The supervisor that my husband complained to went straight to the guy who made the comments and outright told him my husband was the one who complained about him. The coworker didn't deny any of these comments. He explicitly told my husband, I don't remember saying that, but I probably did. I say a lot of dumb stuff here. He did, however, stay late after his shift, wait for my husband in the parking lot, and follow him around in his truck while shouting at him, which my husband reported to HR. HR told him the next day, well, those comments were from a while ago. There's nothing we can do about it now. And he didn't actually do anything in the parking lot. So if you don't like working with him, you should think about finding a new job. Multiple employees reported this coworker. Crocs chose to do nothing about it. Today my husband was fired. He was told that a coworker overheard him muttering under his breath that if he ever got fired, he would hurt people. Because people needed to be heard. And that women impeded my husband's work. And he didn't like working with them. -1 in a million effing years. Would my husband ever say anything like that? Who even does that? Just walks around, muttering crazy stuff under their breath. Nobody does that. Crocs knows that this is BS, and they have no evidence, but they fired him anyway. I am not an employment lawyer, but this sounds pretty much like retaliation, which I think is illegal. Right is not a federal offense. Am I making that out? I smell a lawsuit. That was our Antiwork. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.